Hey everyone, it's Brennan. Welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. Today I have my January TBR. It is a new year and I will briefly just tell you my general reading goals. So I read 134 books in 2021. So I made my goal for 2022, 135. We're gonna beat it by one book at least, but also part of me really wanted to set my goal to 200. I don't think I can do that, but low-key, am I gonna try to hit it? Yes, I will. But we'll see. 135 is a good goal. I think I can read at least as much as I read last year, if not more. I was in grad school all of last year, and now I'm not anymore, and isn't that just so exciting? So I don't have that many solid books on my TBR for January, just because I end up picking up a lot of random audiobooks or just mood reading different Kindle books. And I don't have that many books on this list because I'm still trying to read my December TBR videos, which had books like Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and the last two Zodiac Academy books. So I'm still working on those four. Those are big four fantasy romance books that I'm working on right now. I am actually a pretty decent way into From Blood and Ash. I was trying to read it for Sahara's Fan Row Book Club, and that live show's today when I'm filming this. And I'm only about 25 to 30% into it, but I'm really liking it so far. So let's go ahead and jump into my January TBR. And speaking of Sahara and her book club, I am going to pick up Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. Okay, not Crescent City, it's the Crescent City series, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. I'm gonna be one of the guest hosts with Sahara for her book club, and I have to read this. This is Sarah J Maas's newest series, and the second book in this series comes out in February. And I've just heard really good things. This is fantasy romance, but I've heard the romance isn't as heavy in this first book at least. And I think this is more like angel and demons fantasy. But I'm super excited to pick it up. It's a thick chunky book, and we're gonna read more of those in the new year. And then, just going off these book clubs, the Sugar and Spice book club, which is hosted by my friends Manda from Ginger Snapped Reads and Kirsten from Kirsten's Corner. Sometimes Kirsten kind of left us for law school, but it's fine. But their book pick for January is Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover, which is her new release. It comes out on January 8th. I don't know a lot about this. I don't like to know a lot about books going into them, honestly. But I know this follows a woman who has been in prison, and then she gets out of prison and she has a daughter, and I guess she's going back to be with her daughter and maybe finding a new path for herself. Not sure, but super excited to pick it up. And then I have had this book, Moon of the Crusted Snow by Waubgeshig Rice, and this book is super short, but I have got to read this in the winter time. It actually hasn't been very cold here in Kentucky. We've had pretty warm weather, but I think this month it's finally gonna get a little cold. And this is, I'm not sure if it's a horror, but I do believe it's a little apocalyptic or maybe a little post-apocalyptic. I mean, look at that cover. You have the car that's snowed in. But now's the time. Now's the time to read this book. I'm so bad at being so seasonally minded with books, but I've got to pick this up. And then I've got to read a historical every month. I am just in love with historical romances right now. If you're around on my channel, you know that. But I want to read My Darling Duke by Stacey Reid. This sounds like so much fun. So the setup for this is there's this family, and the daughters in the family, I don't know if they're on their own, but the oldest sister wants the best for her younger sisters. So she puts an ad in the paper that's announcing that she is engaged to this duke, and no one has seen this duke in a really long time. He is a recluse. I think he was injured and he's actually in a wheelchair for most of the time now, but she puts an announcement out there that she's engaged to this duke. And then his solicitors are like, oh, you're engaged to the duke, here's all this money that he has. Then he comes back out into society. He's like, who's this woman who's saying she's engaged to me? So he enters society again, and I guess they have an engagement. I don't know, it sounds like so much fun, and I can't wait to pick it up. And then we're gonna get a little bit darker with these last two books on here, and I know this is now not really seasonally appropriate, but also I want to read it. But this is Twisted Christmas, and this is a big book of Christmas taboo novellas by a bunch of indie authors. I've read the first two and I've started the third book in this. The first one was by Sarah Kate, and then it was a QB Tyler one. But these are just taboo romances that are Christmas themed, and it's truly just like such a good time. The spice level in this is extra spicy, and I'm just having a really good time reading these. This entire collection is like almost 1,200 pages, so I probably won't finish it this month, but I definitely want to keep reading these. And then the last specific book on my list is The Sweetest Oblivion by Danielle Lori. One of my friends, Bethany, who I work with, was talking about this, and then I looked it up and it's on Prime Reading. So I don't have Kindle Unlimited. I'll probably get Kindle Unlimited, but I don't want to feel limited by it, because I feel like if I had Kindle Unlimited, I would feel like I could only read Kindle Unlimited books if I was paying for it as a service. That's a side note, but I want to read The Sweetest Oblivion. I don't know what it's about, but there are cards on the cover, so maybe it's a little like gambly. I'm not sure, but I've heard really good things about this, so I would really like to pick it up. And I have just been loving my dark romances, you know? Oh, and then a book I should talk about, just some like currently reading books this month. I'm reading American Kingpin by Nick Bilton. I'm totally reading this. So one, I have had it on Audible for a while because it has great reviews on Audible. And two, and most importantly, my friend Caroline from Caroline Johnson is her channel. She said this was her favorite book of last year, so now I'm reading it. And this is true crime, it's nonfiction, and it is following Ross Ulbricht, is that his name? He made this website, The Silk Road, where people could sell just like freely, and this is his story of like setting that up, and then also the story of like the DEA after him, and it's a really interesting good time so far. There's a lot about like cryptocurrency and coding, and it's just super interesting, and politics. Like there's just a lot in this book, and it's really interesting, and it's a really easy listen so far. And then if you're interested in the books I have checked out from the library right now, I have Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. This is a thriller, and I think it's pretty romantic. I know Haley from Haley Hughes loves this, so I'm super excited to pick it up. That's the reason that I put a hold on this at the library, and now I have it. And then I've been listening to a podcast called National Parks After Dark, and they just talk about different like creepy things and just like unsettling things that happen in the national parks. And they were talking about like a serial killer type thing, and they mentioned the Golden State Killer, and I was like, I should read Michelle McNamara's book about the Golden State Killer. So I have the audio for I'll Be Gone in the Dark that I would really like to get to this month. I mean, I've got 14 days, right, to get to it. And then a random book that I checked out from the library today, because one of the bookstagrammers who takes super cute bookstagram pics, I'll put her post that made me check this out from the library up here, but I checked out Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Chismar, and she just said that it was amazing, and I checked it out from the library. There wasn't a wait for it, so I just checked it out. But those are the books that are on my radar for January. We're gonna read lots of books this year. I hope y'all are ready. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next one.